I've always believed that love is messy. But when it comes to Hollywood, love isn't just messy, it's dangerous. And in 1950, one affair didn't just spark gossip, it nearly burned the entire house down. I'm talking about Ingrid Bergman, the woman whose face lit up Casablanca, who played saints, nuns, and every role that made her seem untouchable. She was elegant, innocence, perfection, until the day she wasn't. One decision, one man, changed everything. She left her husband, she left her child, and she ran straight into the arms of a married Italian director named Roberto Rossellini. Their love was real, intense, obsessive, but to the world, it was a scandal, betrayal. Her name, once gold-plated in movie history, was suddenly poisoned. Boycotts, bans, hate mail. The US Congress even called her an instrument of evil, a woman shamed by an entire nation because she dared to love outside the script Hollywood had written for her. What happened next wasn't just a scandal, it was a war between love and reputation, between art and morality. And at the center of it all, a woman who refused to apologize, even as the studio system tried to erase her. This is the story of how one affair almost crushed an empire. Not just hers, not just his, but an entire era of Hollywood make-believe. You know, looking back, I don't think anyone expected Ingrid to become a lightning rod for controversy. I mean, she had everything studios adored: talent, grace, and that effortless glow that didn't need rhinestones or red lips to make people stare. She was from Sweden and started humbly, acting in Swedish films, far from the glitz of Los Angeles. But when she came to the US in the late 1930s, Hollywood didn't exactly roll out the red carpet. She didn't speak English. She was taller than most actresses. Her name sounded too foreign, her eyebrows too thick. Basically, she wasn't their idea of an American beauty, but that's exactly what made her unforgettable. Instead of changing herself, she redefined the standard. No plastic smiles, no fake curves, just raw, real elegance. That refusal to conform, it worked. She became a star. Casablanca, Gaslight, Joan of Arc. She lit up the screen like a storm in silk. By the late 1940s, she wasn't just admired, she was idolized, a perfect symbol of American values, clean, sweet, and untouchable. But the thing about perfection is, it's fragile. One touch in the wrong direction, and the whole illusion cracks. And that touch, that temptation, it came in the form of an Italian director who didn't play by anyone's rules, Roberto Rossellini. He was raw, revolutionary, and far from the polished halls of Hollywood. While Ingrid was making studio dramas with glamorous sets, he was reshaping cinema with real people, real streets, and real emotion. She admired him from afar, watching his films Open City and Paisan, which were nothing like the polished illusions she starred in. So, in 1948, she did something bold. She wrote him a letter. And it wasn't just a fan letter, it was a confession, an open door, saying, if you need a Swedish actress who speaks English very well and an Italian knows only ti amo, I am ready to come and make a film with you. Like an Oscar-winning goddess offering herself to your story with just 2 Italian words, ti amo. How do you not fall into something dangerous after that? Rossellini even invited her to Italy. They started filming Stromboli, a neo-realist film shot on a volcanic island with real locals and no glam. And somewhere between the ash, the isolation, and the smoke, the affair began. And not just any affair. This was a world-shaking love that would burn through careers, morality, and every pedestal Ingrid had ever been placed on. There's a moment when passion crosses a line, that it stops being just a secret and becomes a storm. On the surface, Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini were just 2 brilliant artists working on a film together. But beneath the camera lights, something deeper, more dangerous was unfolding. And it wasn't long before everyone saw it. Both of them were married, both had children. But on that volcanic island, with smoke in the sky and tension in the air, they fell in love. And not the kind of love you can hide behind rehearsals or retakes. The kind that leaves proof. 9 months after filming began, Ingrid gave birth to their son, Robin. The world didn't just whisper. The headlines screamed. The gossip columns caught fire. And her perfect image shattered in real time. In Hollywood, affairs weren't new. The town was practically built on them. But this was different. America had crowned her a saint. So when she got pregnant out of wedlock with a foreign, non-Catholic director, it was like watching an angel fall. One US senator even stood on the floor of Congress and called her a public concubine. A woman who won Oscars was now being dragged through moral mud, not just by tabloids, but by her own country. And yet, she didn't run. She and Rossellini divorced their spouses, married each other, and continued making films together. She lost Hollywood, yes, but she refused to lose herself. Their next film, Europe 51, tried to move beyond the scandal. It was raw and haunting. Bergman played a grieving mother driven mad by loss, searching for truth in the streets of Rome. The politics were bold, too bold. Italian censors forced Rossellini to cut parts of the film, worried it was too honest, too revolutionary. And even when they weren't talking about themselves, their films still mirrored their pain. Outsiders, misunderstood, shut out by society. In 1954, they made two final films together, Journey to Italy and Fear. Both quiet, aching stories of broken marriages and moral unraveling. In Journey to Italy, Bergman plays a woman distant from her husband, wandering Naples, discovering how easily love can get buried under routine. What makes it powerful isn't the dialogue, it's the silence. The volcano in Stromboli had erupted years ago, but now, all that was left were the ashes. Behind the scenes, things weren't picture perfect. The scandal never fully faded, and their love, so passionate, so public, began to crumble. But for a moment, they burned the world down for each other, and no matter how it ended, that kind of love always leaves a scar. After the scandal broke, Hollywood didn't just gasp, it recoiled. With few roles offered in the US, and public opinion turned hostile, Ingrid found herself essentially exiled. She stayed in Italy with Rossellini, knowing Hollywood's doors were slammed shut. Meanwhile, the backlash wasn't just personal. It was economic. Studios and distributors bowed to moral outrage. RKO Pictures, for instance, had financed Stromboli through Howard Hughes and handled its American release. But after outraged groups and politicians called for boycotts, RKO faced terrible pressure. Churches, women's clubs, and even state legislators urged theaters to refuse the film. Major studios where she'd been their golden girl, like Selznick International Pictures and MGM, paused and canceled contracts and loanouts. Distributors quietly withdrew her projects, fearing sponsors would flee. One U.S. senator publicly denounced her as glamorizing free love and demanded her films be banned from American screens. Studios that once celebrated her as wholesome and untouchable now saw her as a financial liability. Contracts were quietly axed, film rights pulled, and distribution deals collapsed. The box office gold had turned radioactive. This wasn't just a scandal, it was a near crisis for the studios. One controversial actress was enough to threaten entire investment plans and market strategies. To add insult to injury, her custody battle over daughter Pia dragged on for nearly a year. That standing in Italian exile, unable to return home or see her child, was used against her reputation in court and tabloids alike. In 1956, Ingrid snuck back into U.S. hearts with Anastasia. Shot in Europe, it let her carefully sidestep U.S. studios, but still reach American audiences. The gamble paid off. The controversy actually fueled interest. Audiences craved her return. Curiosity won out over scorn. By 1957, she earned a second Best Actress Oscar. Though she didn't attend, Cary Grant accepted it for her, sending her honesty and warmth. "We all send you our love and admiration." That moment stopped the boycott cold. As she followed up with hits like Murder on the Orient Express and Cactus Flower, the studios got it. She's not a scandal, she's an icon. Even Senator Johnson publicly apologized, demonstrating how far public sentiment had shifted. Rossellini, meanwhile, found his moment too. His influence on global cinema persisted, though his career never quite recovered, and his next affair triggered fresh scandal. Bergman divorced him in 1957, which helped her return to Hollywood's good graces. And Hollywood? It learned a lesson. Stars are powerful, but still fragile in public memory. Studios would burn reputations to protect profits. Today, their films together are hailed as cinematic masterpieces, and the scandal is now a footnote to their brilliance. So, what began as a simple letter turned into a love affair so explosive it rocked Hollywood's golden age to its knees. Ingrid Bergman, Hollywood's angel, was cast out by the very studios that built her. Her affair with Roberto Rossellini didn't just destroy her image. It threatened the financial foundation and moral backlash more than they valued talent. But in the end, she did what true legends always do. She rose, not by erasing her past, but by embracing it, by choosing art over approval, passion over reputation. And maybe that's the real story here. Love might have cost her everything, but it also gave her the fire to come back stronger. If that doesn't scream Hollywood, I don't know what does. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share it with a fellow, and subscribe for more secret histories from behind the velvet curtain. And drop a comment below and tell me, was it worth it?